Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Kevin Connors. I'm going to do a little expose on Royal Rife and his work. For those who don't know anything about the Rife machine, I am certainly not an expert. I'm a clinician, and we use it with unbelievable success in our office, but I'm not a quantum physicist, and that's really how frequency medicine works. So this is going to be a brief overview. So don't critique it through the eyes of a quantum physicist because you may be disappointed. Royal Rife is where we get the name Rife from. Royal Rife is a man, Royal Raymond Rife. He lived from 1888 to 1971, studied at Johns Hopkins, and he was really a microbiologist and a microscope manufacturer. He has numerous credits to his name. Many people in his day and since then have considered him a genius. Just what he studied and what he discovered was amazing. He really discovered the first live cell microscope. He actually built it and could see living, moving bacteria as they moved through the blood of a patient. And it was quite interesting what he discovered. He was credited many times with dinners in his honor. He was very accredited in his day. Where he got in trouble is what we're going to see. Now, from a quantum physics perspective, understand that the smallest particles that we know are simply energy that is vibrating at a specific frequency. So from a Newtonian physics perspective, things are broken down to an atom structure, which is surrounding electrons around a proton and a neutron. And from a quantum physics perspective, it's the smallest particle is simply energy. And what makes it different is its vibrational field. So it vibrates at a specific frequency. That's what makes it what it is. So all matter is everything that you can see. And its smallest particle is energy that vibrates at a specific frequency. You can measure those frequencies. The average body organ frequencies are listed here. All your cells vibrate at a specific frequency. A conglomeration of cells, that is an organ, a tissue, will vibrate at a specific frequency. Cancer will vibrate at a specific frequency. Viruses, bacteria vibrate at a specific frequency. And if you hit those tissues, those organs with their own frequency, good things can happen. So that's what his work really surrounded around in the latter part of his life, and that's what got him in trouble. So this picture here shows him with one of his microscopes. At that time, it was the world's most powerful microscope. He lived in San Diego. He called it the Rife Universal Microscope, which had nearly 6,000 different parts to it. And he could magnify up to 60,000 times its normal size. It was an amazing piece of equipment at the time, which is now completely lost, which you'll find out in just a little bit here. He also then studied frequency medicine and how he could create an instrument that when he could view that virus or that bacteria, he could destroy it with using the frequencies that would affect that virus or bacteria. He called that frequency the mortal oscillatory rate. He believed that when he hit that microbe with its own frequency, he caused it to vibrate. Well, and in his belief at the time that the vibration of that paramecium would then cause it to be unstable and the cell wall to break down and the organism would lyse or die. And he called that the mortal oscillatory rate. And now with further studies at this date, they have found that in single cell organisms that can be true. But more so than just that, when you hit anything with its own frequency, you do cause it to vibrate. and that vibration, because you're matching frequencies with that substance, whether it be matter or a living organism, uh, can be very good for the organism, or it can be very bad for the organism. If it's a pathogenic organism in the person's body and your immune system is unable to find it, if you cause it to vibrate, let's say it's Lyme disease, and you cause it to vibrate, you attract the attention of lymphocytes and macrophages that can then kill it. So there's huge benefit in using a Rife to kill bacteria that are maybe have the ability to hide from antibiotics or from a normal elicited immune response by your body. So something like chronic Lyme disease, or a bacteria that is resistant to antibiotics. Using a Rife machine can be very beneficial. The other benefit of a Rife machine and using it to kill microbes is simply that there's no side effects of antibiotics. It kills them directly, or by eliciting a direct immune response on that system. It doesn't kill it to stimulate an immune response. It kills it by having the immune system be able to recognize where it is. With cancer cells, just the simple act of vibrating a growing cancer mass is hugely beneficial, because when a cancer is growing, as you learned from some of my other lectures, that growing cancer mass is highly metabolic, and that highly metabolic activity of that cancer mass is giving a lot of waste. And because of the adhesion molecules allowing those cancer cells to conglomerate and basically stick together, that excess waste of that metabolic cycle, because of the rapid replication, is basically forming an acidic slime layer around the cancer, which in a sense is protecting the cancer from an immune response. So simply vibrating that cancer mass from a cellular point of view is causing a breakup of that acidic slime layer. It's allowing your lymphatic system to help carry that away, and allowing your immune system to be able to penetrate that layer to help kill the cancer. Now, there's many other things that the Rife does, because it's a light generating tool. It is giving a photon, which is basically an electron donation, which increases the alkalinity of whatever you're hitting to. So if you are using it for treating a cancer, you are vibrating the tissue, you are alkalizing the cancer site directly, similar to what Dr. Simoncini's work which is injecting sodium bicarb. Well, you are doing it without injecting anything, and you are alkalizing the tissue site, and it just can be very beneficial for the patient. And you are also, because it's a less stable structure, you are causing cell lysis, which is cell death as well. So there's many benefits, and there's probably 24 other theories on why frequency medicine works. That is beyond my understanding. I just care that it works. But this is how Rife really started. And when he got attention for using what he called his beam ray at the time, which is a Rife machine, which is simply a light frequency generator. When he used that light frequency generator and he saw changes in microbes, he started to get attention from the world. Newspaper articles like these were written, and at that time there was, kind of a dichotomy in medicine. There were a lot of practicing medical physicians that wanted to grab onto what he was doing, because their sole desire was to help patients get better. But there was a slowly growing medical pharmaceutical conglomeration that was soon to squish out anything that was not using a pharmacological approach to treating any disease. And that was Royal Rife's soon undoing. So, matter of fact, in 1934, the University of Southern California, the medical school, took on Rife's work, sent him a number of terminal cancer patients that to all of their medical doctors believed had weeks to live, and the results were phenomenal. He had just phenomenal results with those cancer patients. Matter of fact, every one of those cancer patients got better. Now, I don't know what kind of studies could be done today. This would never be performed today. Those doctors who referred people to Rife for his work would all be fired or thrown into jail in today's world, because it's not so much, an individual. Even if your oncologist wanted to do natural approaches with you, they're bound by the organization that they work for, which is the hospital, to follow what is called the standard uh, protocol of medical care, which ironically is written by the pharmaceutical industry. So the chance of your doctor even recommending uh, vitamin C to you is pretty slim. And even clinics, large clinics like Mayo and Johns Hopkins and Sloan Kettering, who profess to have an alternative cancer approach in their protocol, really basically give lip service to it. They make their money selling drugs. So that's where they're going to make their money. There's no money in selling Rife machines. There's no money in selling vitamins and doing what I do. There's just no money in it. When a cancer patient walks into Sloan Kettering, and that cancer patient is worth anywhere from 100,000 to over $1 million, and you could buy a Rife machine and do a natural approach for less than $20,000. You are not going to get any recommendations in this matter. A matter of fact, you're going to get slashed, and that's exactly what happened to Rife. He went the same route as Gerson and Hoxie and a number of other clinicians who are seeing unbelievable results with cancer patients using nutraceutical approaches. Now, Rife used solely a frequency approach. There's nothing in the literature that I have seen that he used any nutraceuticals, any nutritional or diet or anything like that. He solely used his frequency generator, his light frequency generator, um, and he had great results. Well, Gerson used, basically a diet and juicing and coffee enemas, had great results. Hoxie used his herbal formula, had phenomenal results. But that was right in the early 1950s when the pharmaceutical industry really took over the AMA and just shut down all these clinics. And in shutting down these clinics, it basically drove most of these clinics to Mexico, and that's the Mexico cancer clinics that we have today. So um, Rife didn't go that route. When he was shut down and his place was destroyed, his laboratory was vandalized, his microscope was stolen, his frequency generator was destroyed. He was up there in years, and even though he lived closer to the Mexico border than any of the other clinicians, he basically just gave up. He was done. He was finished. He was crushed. All his work was destroyed. He was discredited, and his work was basically lost for decades. Uh, that's very unfortunate because a lot of people suffered because of that. So this, unfortunately, is what happens to anybody who's going to go against the medical pharmaceutical establishment, including us. So this presentation being out there and our name on it is enough to create a target on our back, and we've had a target on our back for many, many years. And I've been drug in front of this boards, and I've been sent letters by medical boards, etc. And I just ask that you pray for us. We practice solely under our pastoral medical license and solely under biblical principles. And that is what has been given us, given the protection. And we just believe that the Holy Spirit has his hand on us in order for us to help people get better. But there's a lot of current information that's written about Rife's use today. It was picked up again in the early 60s and 70s. Actually, the U.S. government picked it up in the Cold War, and they were trying to create germ warfare. If they thought, well, if this guy could actually help people help kill germs with frequencies, couldn't we, by hitting somebody with the frequency of anthrax, couldn't we create anthrax in a person? Well, the positive and negative of the U.S. Defense Department picking up Rife's work and trying to create, trying to kill people with it was that they spent millions of dollars mapping out the quantum physics frequency of every disease known to man at that time and most your human body organs. Um, in general, they gave us that all those frequencies, and with the Freedom of Information Act, you could Google it and see those frequencies that they came up with, which really helped the alternative cancer Rife industry as we started building Rife machines again from what we knew, which are the frequency generators that Rife used. We were able to use those frequencies to be able to help people. Well, the Defense Department eventually dropped everything because if you hit somebody with the anthrax frequency, you don't create anthrax, you will just kill anthrax in that person's body. So, well, it didn't work as a germ warfare, but it does work as medicine, and it's ironic that medicine then just ignores it. And it gets down to, I hate to say it, the negative side of capitalism is that if you can't make money at it, well, then we just will pretend it doesn't exist and we'll bash anybody that uses it. That's kind of where we're at. So there's many, many cancer books that are out on the market that talk about natural cures. If any of these people ever use Rife, it's included in their book. I obviously talk about it in my book, Stop Fighting Cancer, because that's a big piece of what we do. Nina Silver wrote a great book, The Handbook of Rife Frequency Healing, which lays out a lot of the different frequencies for people as well. This is the machine that we use. I have used 4 different Rife machines over the last 16 years. Currently, we use this one. It's called the True Rife. That's the brand. It's the F117. This picture here isn't of the current model, but this is what we've used maybe the last 7 or 8 years. And any patients that come to us that have cancer or chronic Lyme go home with a Rife machine. That's part of our program. They're in our office. We're scanning them. Our real 4 pillars to anybody's disorder is find out what the cause is, and this is with cancer as well. Number 2, how are we going to get rid of the cause? Number 3, what are we going to use from a nutraceutical standpoint? That includes diet. That includes exact specific cancer killers, or what are we going to do to kill that chronic Lyme nutraceutically from a nutritional standpoint? And then fourthly, what are we going to use from a frequency standpoint? And that's what the greatest time in our office is to discover through scanning exactly what frequencies we're going to use for a patient. And then most of our programming is done so that the patient uses the Rife while they sleep. It's very easy to sleep with. We sleep with one at home ourselves. And it is, a matter of fact, on this next slide, I show some pictures of it. That center picture there is the best picture I had of what's called the hammer tube. On your bottom left, for the person's foot on top of it, it's called a hammer tube because you can basically hit it with a hammer and it's not going to break. It's very easy to use at night, and you're basically getting all your treatment while you're sleeping, so you can get up and live during the day, and that's really what our purpose is. So we send people home with a completely programmed unit. It has a little computer. That's a little picture, not a very great one, of what the screen looks like. It's very easy to use, even if you've never used a computer before. The reason why I like this is it's just so easily programmable, and that's what Rife initially didn't have with his machine because the computer technology just wasn't there yet. It's very easy to use, and bottom line, even though I'm not a quantum physicist, it works, and that's all I care. I don't care what it is as long as it works. So it just seems like it works so well on biblical principles. I mean, Jesus said he is the light of the world, and it's amazing how God uses light to heal people. So I just think it's a great benefit. It's been a super, super tool. It's just a tool. It's not a magic wand. It's a tool, but it's a great tool that we've used in our practice. So if you need any more information, there's a chapter on Rife in my book that goes into a little bit better detail on this, but I hope this gives you a great overview. Call our office if you have any questions, or check out our website. Thanks.